Hey everyone, this is Grant from Grant Racing, and this is the How to Prep Your Mustang for Autocross series. Today we're going to start off with wheels and tires. So wheel sizes. Generally you're going to want a 17 or an 18 inch wheel. You can go bigger, like a 19 or even a 20, but the larger the wheel, the heavier it's going to be. You want as little as unsprung weight as possible. Also, the larger the wheel, the greater the diameter, the worse your acceleration is going to be unless you up your rear end gear ratio, which I'll go into later. But as far as width, you can probably want a 9-inch wide wheel. That would enable you to run either anywhere from a 255 to 275. Right here, these are the American Muscle 2010 style 18x9s. I got them for about 80 bucks a pop off American Muscle. They're not the lightest wheel, but they were cheap. They were a good middle ground option. Eventually probably upgrade to a set of Enkei's, but they're 4 times as expensive as these. This is running a 275 35/18, but go into tires next. So tire sizes. The link below is an explanation on how to read tire sizes. When shopping for tires, you really want to keep in mind the total diameter of the tire. So for instance, if you get a taller tire, it'll mean that your gears will be taller, meaning you'll get more speed out of first and second gear. Now for autocross, you're going to want as much speed as possible out of second gear, but you want to keep in mind that a taller tire will raise the ride height of your car, the center of gravity, and also a taller tire will result in slower acceleration. So you're really going to want to find a good middle ground for your driving style. Now as far as the width of the tire, remember you can't just stuff the widest tire possible on, for instance, this 18x9. Tire Rack has a good, on their website, you can see what they recommend the widest is. Now you can usually fit a little bit wider than what they recommend, but it will affect the contact patch. So if you stuff a huge tire on like a narrow wheel, like an 8-inch wheel or something, you won't necessarily get all the grip out of it because you'll be stretching the sidewall so much. So the type of tire. Generally, you're going to want a tire with a good sidewall, because the stiffer the sidewall, the better for autocross. Autocross is not about straight line speed, it's about turning, constantly turning. So you're not going to want, like a drag tire, because yeah, it'll hook right off the line, but when you're in the slalom and whatnot, you'll notice that a softer sidewall tire will wallow back and forth and cause weird handling issues. So you're going to want a tire with a good sidewall. You're going to want a low tread wear rating tire, and that'll mean it's a little bit stickier, but downside it's going to get worse gas mileage. Now you can also want to keep in mind that lower than 200 is considered a race tire, but that'll be for another video for classing for autocross. And I did attach some suggestions below. If you're wondering right here, this is a Hoosier A6. It's generally considered the best autocross tire. They did bring out the A7, but I don't really know much about that just yet. This is a treadwear 40. Now, for instance, your average tire in like a Prius or something, that's about a treadwear 440. So that tells you the difference between how much usage you'll get out of the tire and how sticky they are. So tire pressure and chalking. This is probably the question I get most often out at the autocross track. And it's also something that can ruin your day if you don't set your tire pressure properly. First thing you're going to need a good tire pressure gauge. This is the Joe's Racing tire pressure gauge. I got it off Amazon.com for about 25 bucks. You'll want one with a little bleeder valve. You can use the little crappy stick ones, but a little bit harder to use. This is a little bit easier to read. It's glow in the dark. Do a night race. It's also got the little thing here so you don't have to sit right in front of your tire, which is a little bit dangerous. So the first thing you want to do, set your initial tire pressure, and it can vary from manufacturer to manufacturer, but probably want to start around anywhere from 36 to 40 for your initial tire pressure. And then you want some kids chalk. You can get this in the kids section. Sidewalk chalk, you want the little thicker kind, and you want to mark 3 points on your tire. And what you want to do is start on the tread itself and go all the way onto the sidewall. And just mark 3 points in case you run over some dirt or something. You can get a good reading. and you go around your first run, check your tire pressure, and wherever your wear marks are, you can either increase your tire pressure or decrease. So if you notice you're wearing all the way onto the sidewall, you want to increase your tire pressure. If you notice you haven't worn anything up here on your actual tread patch, then you want to decrease your tire pressure. So that will give you good reading. Usually it takes 2 or 3 runs to get it correct, but then every time on out, you'll know how to set your initial tire pressure. Now with race tires and some other tires, you'll notice, especially on the hotter days, that after each run, your tire pressure will go up as your wheels and tires and whatnot get hotter. So you just want to bleed a little bit of air out of it after each run. And with the Mustangs, I generally run a little bit higher tire pressure up front and a little lower in the back to help get some more grip in the back, because obviously the cars oversteer quite a lot. So rotating tires. So if you have a dedicated set of tires, or if you only have one set and you do autocross a lot, you're definitely going to want to rotate your tires after each autocross event. Now it's pretty standard, just back to front, left to right. What I do is after each event, get out some tape, just label it where it was, so now when you pick it up again in a month later, you don't have to remember, oh, well that was a back tire or whatever. So I just wrote some electrical tape here, RB, right back, so I know then that will go to the, that was the right back tire, that will go to the front left tire. So I get a little bit of even wear. And then about halfway through the life of your tires, this is a little bit harder to measure. You want to rotate your tires left to right. So you have to get them unmounted and remounted. And that'll extend the life of your tires, because generally even if you run a lot of camber, the outside of the tire is going to get more wear. And even rotating won't help that. So you'll want to unmount and remount your tires to get more use out of them. Camber. Now camber, the greater the camber, the better. So for your street car, you're probably going to be running a little under -1 maybe. But for autocross, you're going to want as much as possible. Now I've seen some of the Boss 302 guys that in the professional area that run almost -4. It's a bit extreme. I'm not really sure if you really need that, but I run -3 with a mix of the camber plates and camber bolts. And now if you're just looking to have some fun and go out there a few times, you can leave it. You really won't do that much damage to your tires. But if you are getting more into the sport and want to do this more often, you really are going to need to adjust your camber, where you're going to wear your tires quite unevenly, and they'll just be worn out and you'll have to toss them. So that was a real basic overview of wheels and tires for your 05-14 Mustang. It could also apply for a few other model years, or any car in general, really. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns, or if I screwed something up. Have any suggestions, I can make a part 2. We're going to continue the series. There's a lot more stuff to cover. There's a lot of good specific Mustang things I haven't covered yet that I've learned in racing this car for the past 3 years. So go over the exterior prep. You want to zip tie some items down. Interior prep, obviously, things inside your car, seats. You don't want leather seats, whatnot, seat belts. Types of cameras to use, I can go over how I do my setup, and possibly we could do some more advanced things like suspension geometry and driving styles, and I can kind of edit some of my videos together to show you what to do, what not to do, and all the wipeouts and whatnot. So let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.